want you to enjoy the ride. But most importantly, I'm going to be talking to you something about this project, the THIKA road. Currently, I'm on Forest Road, but I'm going to be talking to you about THIKA road and how that relates to leadership, and because leadership is what we are talking about in this video. So please enjoy the ride all the way to THIKA. Thank you very much, and please remember to subscribe and like the video, and also comment. So enjoy. So we are about to join THIKA road from Forest Road. This project was done by our third president of the Republic of Kenya. His name was Mwai Kibaki, and Mwai Kibaki passed away a few years ago. And I want to talk to you about that president while I'm driving, and while you're looking at the project he did and how that relates to leadership, especially when it comes to Africa. Mwai Kibaki, in my personal view, was probably the only president who was 80% a leader and about 20% a politician. There is a difference between leadership and politics, but I will talk about that much in some other video. I'll compare the differences so we can understand the difference, because there is a difference between politics and leadership. Currently, the world is being run by majority politicians. In most countries, politicians are running the show. But there is a difference between politics and leadership, or politicians and leaders. And if you get to have a president or a prime minister or anybody that is in charge of government whose bigger percentage is leadership, then you are lucky, because then you can have that country moving very fast. Now, so Mwai Kibaki, I believe, was about 80% a leader who was practicing leadership, and 20% a politician. And that is how come that man was able to transform this country. Because when he took over, he actually took over from the second president, who was Moi, Daniel Arap Moi. And the country was in a mess. There had been a lot of corruption, a lot of manipulation, and that is one of the things that politicians are known for. They are known for manipulation and just selfish interests. Actually, I can tell you one of the differences: leaders are about service, politicians are about interests. There are many other differences which I'll talk about in some other time, comparing politicians to leaders. And what I am trying to encourage, especially in Africa, to encourage us to do is to embrace leadership and not politics or politicians. I know our spaces are being run, our governments are being run politically, and yes, it is possible to have leadership in political space. So Mwai Kibaki, the greatest thing Mwai Kibaki did, and you can see at his project, this is his project, this THIKA road. This was the biggest. When he did this project, at that time it became the biggest road project in my country. it probably still is, but there are many other major road projects that have been done by the following government, following after his footsteps. But this one was a landmark because Kenyans had never had a project, especially a road project like this. This was the first of its kind. And what he surprised the world with was he was able to do this project with ease. Of course, there was a loan, I understand. But Mwai Kibaki was the one president that meant Kenyans believe that they could actually collect their own taxes and run their own country. Initially, Kenyans did not believe that we were able, because of the government that had been there before, because of corruption. Most of our Kenyans and many other African countries believe that we have to live on loans and at the mercies of other countries, especially the West. But when Mwai Kibaki came in, he opened up the country for development. And as you know, projects like this kind of projects, they open a nation for development. Actually, there is a saying that development follows infrastructure. All economy grows as infrastructure grows. So, and this is an infrastructure project that Kibaki did. But if you are under a politician, what happens in most cases, because it's about self-interest, they steal the money, like it is very common in Africa. Corruptly they will steal, and then they will steal the money and then borrow and steal and borrow and steal, and that happened a lot in the last government. And and I don't want to talk so much about politics. I'm just talking about leadership. Really, my interest is just leadership. So Kibaki the leader, because I believe the guy was a leader, not so much of a politician. Kibaki the leader, when he took over from Mwai, the country was in shambles. Economy was very broken. It needed time and a good leader. And as you know, by the way, the other thing Kibaki was known for, he was known for to be an economist. He was very good in economics. So the first thing is that he started running the government in such a way that meant Kenyans believed that they were actually capable of transforming their own country. And not only did so actually it changed the mindsets of Kenyans. And not only as far as road projects are concerned, but also many other things like real estates. You can see an estate in front of me, and there are so many estates in Nairobi. Nairobi is a very big city, a very, very big city, and it is growing. From the time of Kibaki, it's been growing so fast. Places where there was nothing, they have been building the city, and it's been eating into neighboring counties, because Nairobi is a county. It's a huge city, and it is growing every day, and the growth began during Mwai Kibaki's time. People believed, even when it comes to real estate, Kenyans suddenly believed they can actually run real estate businesses, they can run serious businesses, and so businesses were opening serious major businesses all over the place, because we were being led by a leader and not so much of a politician. So, as I've said, there is a difference between leadership and politics. And I have said leadership is about service or serving people. So when you put a leader into power, he will be more focused on serving people. But politics is about interests. And those interests begin with self-interests, then it becomes group interests. That is, people that are running or have helped the politicians run the campaigns, so that when it is politicians, when they get power, the first thing they look at the people that they ran campaigns with. So, you know, the leader begins with his interest. I mean, the politician at the top begins with his interest, and then the interest of those that, you know, contributed into his campaigns and those that he ran with, and that is okay, and that is normal. There is no problem with that. No problem with running government with those that you campaigned with. Unfortunately, those interests are selfish first. Actually, it's selfish interests. So you find they come to power, and first of all, they want to benefit themselves before they can think of building the country. And so even when they are building the country, they will build the country for as long as they are benefiting themselves. So that by the time they are out of power, you realize politicians that came to power without much, they will come out very wealthy, with wealth that you cannot explain where it came from. And that is a very common problem in Africa. Simply because every project they have done, they have taken an opportunity to steal from that project. I had a story that was told, and I don't remember it in full, but I'm going to try and narrate it to you, so you can see one challenge that African countries have. And Africa is an amazing continent, as you can see. This is great. This is an amazing project. We have so many roads that are amazing all over the country, and in the course of time, in my videos, you're going to see many of them in my country, because last time I told you part of this channel, part of the videos I'm going to upload here will be on traveling, and then as we travel, I talk about leadership and purpose and potential and all those things. And on traveling, I am going to really focus a lot especially first with Kenya, and then I'll move out of Kenya with time when it comes to traveling, because I'm very much interested with my African continent especially, and to speak about subjects like this. By the way, as we continue talking, I want you to support this channel, and one of the best way to support it is actually to subscribe to the channel, add to the number, and also when you subscribe, please activate the notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I come in to do a video like this. And there will be many videos like this. I mean, there will be many videos like this. So subscribe, like the video, please comment, say anything about what I'm saying. You can agree or disagree with what some statements I'm making. It is very okay. I'll be very happy to see your comment, as long as, you know, respectfully so, because constructive criticism is very much welcome, and it's very healthy and important. I believe in that. But like I was saying, you'll find that those politicians will get into power. By the time they are out of power, they will have so much wealth that you cannot explain. And partly, actually mostly, it's because they came to power. It was about interest. They are not like leaders who are about service. And so they will do a project. It will take so many billions, but percentage of those billions, they will make sure it goes to their pockets corruptly, of course. And because of that, Africa should be so far ahead, because we have amazing resources. You know, there are many countries in the West that come to Africa, they get our resources, they go and value add, bring back the resources. Some of them, you know, they buy at very throwaway prices our products, because of corruption in our countries. And because of corruption, we have so much money that goes into pockets of individuals, money that would otherwise be used to build the country. Because unfortunately, without knowing, as citizens in Africa and many other parts of the world, of course, but let me talk about Africa because I'm in Africa, many citizens in Africa, we have not realized that there is a difference between electing a leader and a politician. And I have to repeat, I'm not talking about politics. I am teaching leadership. So I'm only using this as an example. So don't understand me politically. This channel has got nothing to do with politics. I might mention politics one time or another, but I would only be doing that only to be able to isolate leadership and show you what the difference and why the world, and especially my continent, Africa, is desperately in need of leadership. But look at leadership. We had a president before Kibaki, who was the third president, as I have said, of the Republic of Kenya. We had a politician that was in charge. Actually, that politician was in charge for so many years, over 20 years. And things were going bad from bad to worse. What happened? And then here comes another president, and he begins to change the country, and everybody is amazed. I mean, when you come to Kenya, of course, Kibaki was not 100% perfect. He had his own flaws, and there were many, because of course nobody is perfect. But even today, after Kibaki ran the country and he retired and finally passed away, Kibaki is seen as a hero. The minute you mention Kibaki, people see him as a hero in my country because of the kind of work Kibaki did. And because of that, oh, there's a lot of water here. Wow. Hey, that's a lot of water. That's crazy. Man, did you see that? By the way, when you are driving at a speed, a lot of water can be a bit dangerous on the road, especially if you're speeding. This is a highway. That was a lot of water. Anyway, that was just by the way. So Kibaki is still seen as a hero because of some of the projects he initiated in the country. And it was all over the country. Of course, the president that followed him after has done a lot of projects. Many projects, many road projects. But the change really began with Kibaki. Because even the president that came after him, he followed the footsteps of Kibaki. So and so you see, leadership is so critical in our continent. We so desperately need leadership in this. Desperately. Leadership, we need it so much. Oh my God, the water. We need leadership so much in this continent. Guys, I was talking about the water because I'm driving, it's raining, and sometimes you find a lot of water on the road. So I have to slow down, and this is a highway where you're supposed to go at a certain speed. So but everybody can see it's raining, so I put my hazards on. So Africa is critically in need of leadership. We need leadership critically. And it is not only in elective positions, but we need leadership everywhere. And I'm going to be able to show you. That's why the other day I was telling you, leadership, I don't know whether I mentioned this, maybe this is the first time. When we talk about leadership is not only on political space. We need leadership in our businesses. We need leaderships all over the place. For example, if a business is led by somebody who is practicing political principles, that business can produce products that are harmful to the customers, because politics is about interest. For that business person, as long as their interests are taken care of, they don't care about the health of the customer. Let us say, for example, it is foodstuff. And so we have many projects that affect customers very badly and make them sick. And that's why today when you say you are selling organic, your shop becomes instead popular, because people want organic because they don't trust anything that is on the shelves. Because we have businesses, we have people that are running industries and organizations and corporates who are running those corporates not with leadership or using leadership principles, but using political principles. And one of the things about somebody, political principle actually, is manipulation. I told you I don't want to talk, I wasn't going to explain so much the difference between leadership and politics, but I realized I've already given you like 2 or 3 differences already. So, them is one of them is manipulation. So you will have business people that are focused on manipulating the products and using shortcuts so that they can sell, but in the course of time using some elements or chemicals or products that are harmful to the citizen or the customer, and they don't care as long as their interests are taken care of. But if you have a business or an organization that is led by a person who is practicing leadership, you will have somebody that is focused on delivering service to people. And that's a beautiful car in front of me there. I think you've seen it. It's a Mercedes wagon, I guess. It's a beautiful, expensive car. I think it's comfortable too. I don't know whether you've ridden on it. And I didn't realize it was fast. It seems to be fast actually. So let's continue with our discussion. So when you have a politician in charge, then they will abuse power. It will be about interests. And so that organization or a country like ours, it will go slow. So many things will be wrong. It will take very long to develop or to progress. And everybody will be complaining, and the leader and those that are in charge will be pretending they are doing the best they can, but actually they are doing the best at stealing, corruptly getting the funds that are there, because it's about interests as far as they are concerned. So Africa desperately, if African countries are going to progress, we desperately need to begin to understand the difference between leadership and politics, and we are going to need to embrace leadership. We need to be able to embrace leadership. It's very critical. It is so very, very important that we need to do that. This project was done by a leader. Before the leader was a politician, and we had never seen a project like this. Kenya had never had a highway like this one before President Mwai Kibaki. Now this highway goes all the way to Thika, and that's why I told you I'm moving from Nairobi to Thika. I'm actually going beyond Thika, but I just decided in the course of going beyond Thika, why don't I do this project, this particular project, this road, and then I talk about it, and as far as leadership is concerned. And when it comes to leadership, there's so many things you can talk about. A lot of things you can talk about. By the way, I'm going to the village. This is usually my way to the village. And when I go to the village, there are several other videos I'm going to make there. So make sure to watch my upcoming videos. This week alone, I'm going to upload probably 2 or 3. I'll try my best to upload 3, but if not 3, at least 2. And those ones I'm going to do from the village, speaking about different things. So I just want to encourage you once again, please subscribe to my channel. One of the best way to support what I'm doing, and I hope to do this, God willing, one day all over Africa, talk about stories like this and more, and especially as far as we as the people are concerned, you and me, where we are concerned. We want, I would be happy, actually the goal for my channel is to raise leaders. And it is to raise leaders from people like you and me. Simple people like you and me. That is the goal for my channel. The goal for my channel is to show you your leadership potential in whichever field your gifts and talents or calling is, whichever field. My work in this channel is to show you how you can use the strength you have to produce leadership in the world and make it better. Because like I'm saying, unless the world is governed by leaders, or unless the world has leaders, it doesn't become better. The better that you see in most cases is produced by leaders. What politicians do is just manage situations. But the real change is brought through leadership. And so we need leadership in every field. We need leadership in hospitality. We need leadership in government, civilian governments. We need leadership all over the place. We need leadership in business. We need leadership in the media. We need leadership all over the place. We need leadership in charge. And leadership is going to be in charge if you are going to understand what leadership is and start applying leadership principles in that which you are doing, where you're working, where you've invested, where you worship. Because when we talk about politics, there is also politics in churches. There is politics in religion, that is. So the world is going to be changed by leadership. And that is why my channel is so critical. I believe there are many other critical channels. Every channel I believe is important. But I believe this is a very critical channel in our time, because we are going to talk about things that, we many times shy away from talking about, but those things are things that can bring serious change. We are almost getting to THIKA. And just if you started with me and you are still here with me, I really want to appreciate you for coming all the way with me. We are almost getting to THIKA. Again, I want to encourage you, please subscribe. You will be thankful that you've subscribed. And please tell your family about this channel. It doesn't matter from where you are in the world. It doesn't matter from which country you are in. Just subscribe. If you are Kenyan, subscribe. If you are an African, subscribe. If you are a citizen of the world, subscribe, because the things we are talking about are not only about, we don't only need them in Africa, we need them everywhere. Actually, let me finish by saying this. The world was meant to be run through leadership. The world was meant to be managed or influenced by leadership, not politics. Unfortunately, it is. And I'm going to talk about difference between leadership and politics, and you will see even where politics came in and started messing things up. And politics has corrupted the world so much that people are more interested with politics without understanding that it's politics that is poisoning the world, making it toxic everywhere. And so we have to raise voices of leadership. We have to discuss leadership. We have to talk about leadership. The world was meant to be influenced by leaders, not manipulated by politicians. And we need to know that. Very, very important for us to know that. There is something that is happening ahead of us. I don't know. There is traffic police there trying to stop people. I don't know what was going on or what is going on here. But there might have been an accident. Doesn't seem so. I think maybe they want to start doing some checks or something. I don't know what it is. So the world was meant to be influenced by leadership and not manipulated by politics. Unfortunately, that is not the way. We have the world manipulated by politics. And so we have as many challenges as we have in the world today. So please subscribe to this channel. I'm going to continue talking about leadership and the difference. In this video I've talked about Mwai Kibaki, You can check, you can Google that. He was the 3rd president of the Republic of Kenya, an amazing president who did some serious projects, and there is not even a single project that is named after that president. People, I understand, I hear people in government try to influence it, because it's very common in Africa, once you do a project, to have many projects named after you. He said he does not want any project to be named after him. He just wants to create change, and that is amazing, because only a leader can speak like that. Leaders are selfless, because leaders are about service. Thank you so much. I am now branching to Thika. Yeah, I'm branching to Thika. The project continues all the way up to, it goes to Nyeri and all that, but his project actually came up to Thika. So I think we reached the end of Mwai Kibaki's project. The president that came after that continued, but okay, it went up to Thika, so it goes up to just maybe 2 or so kilometers down. Otherwise, if we would have continued with the highway, you would have found where that project ended. And that was done by Mwai Kibaki all the way from Nairobi, the capital city, to Thika, one of the towns in Kiambu County, actually the biggest town in Kiambu County. The president who followed, of course, he also has extended the project all the way, but it is not the same standard as what we have just used. Of course, right now in Kenya we have many amazing projects, and I'm going to be able to show you in this channel. And while I'm showing you these projects, I want you to look at I want you to look at the development. I want you to look at the country, but I also want us to learn something, so that all you will have is not only how the country is like, but or how other countries I go to are like, but that we will also learn something that we can actually apply in our own lives. So my challenge is, we need to be leaders. We need leadership. We need to be leaders. I mean, we need to. So the challenge is, we need to embrace leadership. And what the world needs is leadership and people that are actually practicing leadership. I know from the screen, it's not my full face. It's not all there because of the way I placed the camera, especially because of taking the video on the road video. It is better that way, but when I put the camera on reverse or selfie camera, then the way. But as long as you can see my face and you can hear what I'm saying. So this channel is critical. This channel is going to promote leadership, and leadership in government, leadership all over the place, leadership in business, leadership in the media. And my focus is leadership in your own life. You becoming a leader, you becoming a person of influence, you creating change where you are. Whether you're in the village someplace, whether you're in the city somewhere in the world, somewhere in Africa, you creating change. And you understanding, when you see there is a problem, understanding that most likely that problem has been created by leadership. Someone said that everything rises and falls on leadership. Well, I like to say that is a statement of truth, but I usually like to add something there. Everything rises and falls on leadership and management, really. Because of course, some problems are management created and others are leadership created. So everything rises and falls on leadership and management. But for now, we are going to focus so much on leadership. Of course, at some point we'll talk about management, because you can't talk leadership and not mention management. Both of them are cousins. I mean, they are related. They are very important. But there is a time for that video. So right now, thank you so much for watching this video. I love you so much. I really appreciate you. And please, I want to encourage you to